So yesterday there were several on-demand sessions that we wanted to kind of mention so that if you didn't have a chance to participate in those, you can go back. Those will be all week. Seeing Our World. Cindy, did you have a comment on Seeing Our World?
That was the on-demand session? Yesterday's on-demand?
Yes.
Yes, that was done by Raleigh, Kyle, and Keith, and it was very informative. I really enjoyed. And one thing that Raleigh mentioned was task cards. And he said it's like having another teacher in the room because it gives kids independence to choose which direction they're going. So you always learn something with these guys.
And I really enjoyed the brown bag session on what was new at the Library of Congress. I spent many years working in DC at the Library of Congress and learned some new tidbits there too. So a couple things that you might not be aware of, that I wasn't aware of, were the research guides, which is another new wrinkle. So if you have a chance to go back and look at those on-demand sessions, you might want to take a look at that. And then, of course, we had our evening session with Ebony Flowers. Hopefully you all enjoyed that and you have some amazing artwork to show for it. There were lots of things, I think, in that you can use in your classroom. Cindy, you want to share one of the highlights for you?
Well, the thing that I found really interesting was many of the questions she was asking could be asked when you were you're looking at primary sources. And so they followed the track that we use when we teach kids and teachers how to assess primary sources. But Sherrie, you mentioned to me a process called hide and seek.
And that's something we used to use with like an image of Mulberry Street, and you would have kids look at it closely and then tell them they needed to find a place to hide. And then you would ask them, what does it smell like? What's the temperature like? What are you hearing? What's in the background? And so the question that she was asking was very reminiscent of that. But to have kids actually do the drawing of it, I thought uses a different part of the brain and really would help with memory and help kids picture that spot. So merging those processes or attacked way of attacking analysis, I think would be really helpful for kids. Any other comments, Cindy, that you have?
Well, Sherrie, I was really intrigued, and this morning as we were chatting, apparently Keith was in the same thing. I was intrigued by Ebony's thing about making the X just so you make the X to ruin the paper, so it sets you free. But if you're concrete sequentials, but Sherrie and I are both, here's what happens.
So what I wanted to do was I put myself at the intersection of that X, and everything at the top of the page was what was in front of me. Everything behind me was at the bottom of that triangle, and to the right and to the left. So I wanted to make it very structured, and Ebony was like, oh no, it was just to free you up and put an X through the paper, which I think is hysterical when we think about how we learn and how we interpret what someone's suggesting to us might be entirely different than how our kids are perceiving that. So it's a good reminder that we don't all process the same way. I also loved her idea about using a pen versus a pencil, that we're so programmed to want to make everything perfect and right, and we want to erase, and to be free to just do your doodles and do your drawing is another good reminder that we can use with our students.
Well, and we both.
Cindy, you mentioned too about naming someone.
Oh yeah, I think that's when you have to name something in the drawing, that gives you a personal connection, and that I think strengthens. When she showed the Louisiana room with the dancers, the Roadhouse, whether you picked the character and named her or named him, or you made your own, you still have that that connection.
So we would encourage you, I believe we're going to have a place where you can jot down your ideas and share with us. So that's something that we would encourage you to do, so that as a community, we can also share what else the rest of you came up with and how you might integrate the lesson last night into your classroom and into your instructional setting. I think we have, we also wanted to announce that Rebecca Russell was the winner of the speaker prize. Every night we're going to be doing a speaker packet of goodies. And so by participating and being involved in each of those speakers, you'll be updated or be included in the opportunity for a prize. So congratulations to Rebecca. Goose Chase, we have an update on Goose Chase.
Laura?
So
I'll jump in, both of us can. We encourage you guys to tremendously jump into the Goose Chase. You can see we've got people that are out of the chute working for prizes. We have wonderful ones that are donated by the National History Day, Lessons in Local Government from Kent Willman, and beautiful book packs from the Library of Congress that support all of the learning that we're doing today. And look at this, people are in there running for it, but it's not too late. Those of you guys who are totally into the challenges with Goose Chase can continue all throughout the week, and challenges will continue to be released as we work together. But congratulations, Jolene and Kim and Padme, you're up there as well. And look, at Carrie's on this morning, and Danae, you guys are in there. Keep running. There's a lot of fun to come.
Great, great. Well, thanks. Some of the things that are coming up today, we have from 9 to 10, the on-demand pilgrimage of privilege, looking at historic conflict. And then from 11 to 11:30, we have civics on lessons on local government. And then tonight, we have Jesse Stommel, love and other data assets, which is intriguing. So does anyone in the group have a comment about any of those sessions to help promote them?
I will let you know that the lessons in local government, if you cannot get to it, it's well worth being there, but just watch it, go back. The tremendous resources that Lessons in Local Government has are a huge resource for the classroom in a myriad of different ways. Interactive lessons, resources in the community, and ways that you can engage your students both inside and outside the classroom. It is a fantastic program. Kent does an amazing job. They do offer professional development in the summer as well. I'd encourage you guys to take a look, and I'm excited to see Jesse this afternoon.
Great. Anybody have any comments about the pilgrimage of privilege?
I'm looking forward to it.
Great. So we'll give you a little recap tomorrow at the same time. And I think with that, was there anything else that, oh, be sure to fill out the end of the event survey. Contact hours are the certificate at the end of the week, but any other questions before we move on to our Tech Tuesday with Two Geeky Teachers?
All right, let's rock and roll.
all right. Good morning.
Good morning. So we're glad to be here. We are going to take 20 minutes and pack it in with some fantastic new ideas that we have. Laura just attended a Google rollout. We had an opportunity to learn some amazing things at Pear Fair. If you're not familiar with that, it's worth the time. They hold them twice a year, fall and spring. And we're going to share a few of those today, along with some great ways that we are learning together as we move into this digital and hybrid space across all of our schools. We really are focusing this morning on looking at not only the tools, but really the strong pedagogy that surrounds them. how we move our learning forward with our students in really the levels of SEMAR. We've talked about this before, and Laura will speak to that too. So I'm Michelle Pearson from Adams 12 School District, one half, the number 2 geek. Laura's driving, she's number 1. Also from Adams 12, I'll let her introduce herself. I am a social studies teacher, historic preservationist, and tech geek. Laura?
I'm Laura Israelsen. I'm working as a digital literacy partner in Adams 12 right now. And my background is I've worked as a librarian and a technology integrator. Very excited to be here. Always excited to talk about good instruction in the classroom that uses tech tools. And we have certainly been on a journey this year, haven't we? And people have had to really jump in and harness the power of these tools. We hope to show you some new things that maybe you don't know that are available in some of our old favorites, and then also some new favorites that we have. So we'll get started. We put the link in the chat. There's also a bit.ly here, and it is case sensitive when you use a bit.ly. But the first thing we'd like to start with is Wakelet. Wakelet is something that I really started loving this year. It's a bookmarking site, but then they just keep getting better, and so much more is happening with Wakelet. So one hidden thing that I just learned about is Wakelet has a part called the Wakelet space. You might think of the old MySpace, right? But if you click here, you are automatically invited to join this Wakelet space and to join our space. And we actually built the takeaway today in Wakelet, in a Wakelet space. And so all of the tools that we're going to talk about today, there are lots of resources here and you can go in, but I'm going to first show you Wakelet. So this is my, just my Wakelet bookmarking, and I can go in and let's say that I wanted to add some more curriculum ideas. I just go in and you can add links and ideas, and it will take all kinds of text, YouTube videos. I can add anything. I can upload from my Google Drive. I can upload a PDF. So I've used it a lot for links. So this is what I've focused on as I started. And then I found out about the Wakelet space. So this is a whole different place where you can collaborate, you can share with kids. Kids don't have to have an account. You can just give them a link or a join code, but they can also have an account. And when you join a space, you have the power to collaborate, to add ideas and to add links. You can't delete, but you can add. So for example, if you go in, and one of the things that we will talk about today is Padlet, and you can go in, and we really hope that you add to these collections, and that you just go in and you edit a collection, and then you can click on the plus sign and add any of the things that you would like to share with us as well.
So let's talk about how this goes down the school path. With it, Wakelet is amazing for collaboration, as Laura said. And so after we're working with this, I went in and worked with kids and my PLC. So my professional learning community yesterday talked about it. We're building our next unit within it. And then I actually worked with my students with Wakelet yesterday to see how they interacted with it. For those of you who are familiar with the TPS Teachers Network, it's like a TPS Teachers Network for kids, dropping in primary sources, links, resources they found within their inquiry learning, and then driving questions off of those to have them really have a conversation that was rich and led into today's lesson, which they'll dig deeper, was amazing. And it was easily accessible. And I have to be honest with you, it was a first-time try. We had very few hiccups with the kiddos. It was amazing with them. They loved it. In fact, some of them I already know are working with it. In fact, we have a project and a choice board coming up, and one of them asked to do a Wakelet on their choice board. So that was an interesting fold out of yesterday's conversation during our advisory team. So there you go.
I love that. And there is, in here, there are 12 ways to use Wakelet spaces already. You can write stories. You can use it for a portfolio, use it as collaboration, all kinds of ideas. So make sure you go in there. Before we leave, because we have a lot to go, we want to show you this immersive reader. So I have to tell you that when Microsoft announced that they had an immersive reader, I kind of let it go by because we're so Google in my district and in the districts that I've been into. But I'm starting to see this immersive reader embedded in all of these tools. And it doesn't matter if you know, whether you're Microsoft or Google. So whenever you see this icon, there is an immersive reader. So talk about assistive technology. So if you click on this, this will go in and read to you.
Connect to others using a visual wall and share.
But more than that, it's just kind of magical. If you go in, there are grammar options. You can turn on syllables. You can turn on parts of speech. And you can show the labels of the parts of speech. You can go in and you can go in and line focus so that sometimes that's easier for kids to read if they can just follow along one line at a time. You can also choose the picture dictionary and turn that on so that if there's something that, you know, would have a picture with it. So something like maybe the wall would have a picture, but it also will speak out loud to you. You can go in and change the font. And we know that sometimes with kids who are struggling with dyslexia, that Comic Sans is more weighted and works for them, or they can change the color. So we are very excited about this immersive reader, and it's just kind of a game changer. And with that, we're going to move on to another tool. So we hope that you get in here, join, and click on the link and become a member of this Wakelet and get the resources. The next tool that we want to talk about this morning is Flipgrid. We have some ideas for using Flipgrid with primary sources, but we talked about Flipgrid before and we totally love it. But Flipgrid also has this immersive reader embedded inside. So right here, I'm going to share quickly. This is something I'm starting at one of my schools, some book reviews with the kids. And you'll notice if I click in, there's my cute little Sierra with her video, and she's telling you about the books that she's recommending. But look, right here is the immersive reader. I can click on the immersive reader. And from the audio, the immersive reader moves this into text. I can follow along.
I'm Sierra, and I would recommend 2 books.
I can access all of those same tools, but this is just right inside of Flipgrid. So it's fantastic. Who knew this was here? I'm just kind of blown away. You can tell I'm pretty excited.
You know, Laura's blown away when you get a text message at 11 o'clock at night and a chat that says, you really need to look at this because I just found this out on my weekend in the Pear Fair. And we started talking about it. I think one of the biggest things that I understand for the use of this too, that I need daily with my students is the need for that font and the highlighting and the color, because I have visual supports for 5 visual students. And the language translation is huge. It has multiple languages for students to support that. The color that you can, most of our visual students who need to reduce eye strain, who have reduced vision, who have macular degeneration, need different fonts and color. This automatically does that. And being embedded within Flipgrid and also a couple other tools we're going to talk about makes it pretty amazing for what we're doing in connecting with engagement with kids. So Laura, let's rock through those next tools.
So the next thing that I'd like to talk about is where you'll see this immersive reader is in Pear Deck. So I know a lot of you love Pear Deck, but I didn't know that this was embedded. So I started this little Pear Deck, and don't you love, this is my favorite, they have, you know, the troubling grapes. There's always something different here. But as a student, so this is the presentation view, but this is the student view. So the student joined this. So look, here we see that immersive reader icon again. Oh, so if I click on that, inside of Pear Deck, it will grab this and do all those same things, right? So any text that you have, inside of Pear Deck will show up with this same immersive reader. So it's just fantastic and such a great resource for kids. And then of course they can just go back to Pear Deck and move through the presentation. But that is embedded in the student view in Pear Deck now. So fantastic. All right, the next thing we are going to is Padlet.
I love Padlet. I just live Padlet for a whole lot of reasons with my students, but also for collaboration. I think it's a great thing for our students. Padlet has it too. So it's embedded. We've got our immersive reader right in Padlet. But you know, we don't talk about Padlet. We visit it on and off and look at it. But I really want to go back because Padlet has really added some fantastic things to it over time. And right now we've given you a couple bonuses. We have one set of ideas with primary sources, and you're going to have another one too. What I love about Padlet right now is they continue to expand their wall support. So their walls are not just plain, they're timelines, they're columns. There's 100 different ways to use them. And honestly, there's fantastic ways to make connections. With their wall that has arrows alone, you can put two primary sources and have students connect their ideas, critically analyze both, and then make connections with text, with literature to interdisciplinize your teaching. And that's really important as we collaborate across our platforms in class and outside of class. It's really important to think about all of those world and connections for kids and real world application. Padlet's being used by business as well. STEM leaders are using Padlet for brainstorming, and that's amazing. So we've given you some tools here, but immersive reader, hey, it's in Padlet as well. So it's pretty rock star. Go in, check out the timeline function, especially on Padlets for kids with primary sources. So Laura, you want to go to the next one?
We do love some Padlet, and we also left you with 10 ways to use Padlet with primary sources, because we always want to help you think of different ways to use these tools in the classroom and use them tomorrow. But Padlet can really move up your SAMR instruction into that redefinition and change the way that you are harnessing the power of technology in your classroom. So.
And what's pretty amazing with Padlet as well is it's giving you the opportunity to have voice, to put multimedia in there. Students can speak, they can write. And so you can support all different types of activities, but more importantly, you're supporting the learning modality that's going to make understanding happen in the classroom. That deep application of what you're doing, the skill matched with the content. And the tools within Padlet allow you to do that. So Laura, let's go on. We are running to the gun at 8 a.m. I love this one too. And Mentimeter, what an amazing way to really engage your students, not only in introductory activities in the morning, but also in activities that are going to be mid-class, things that are going to be at the end. We use this for entrance tickets, for checks for understanding, for looking at what our learning outcomes are. We're really looking to see whether students are meeting their objectives in their own words. Are they telling us what they're learning? Are they looking at what they know, but also questioning, also thinking about what they want to know and what they want to do with inquiry next? So Mentimeter engages in lots of different ways. There's slides, there are word clouds, as you can see here. Your students can communicate, much like Pear Deck within Mentimeter. It is a paid tool for some of your higher functionality, but the basic functionality in Mentimeter is rock star. Here's another really easy thing with Mentimeter as well. You can easily, in a snap, clear your Mentimeter base slides, just like you would with Jamboard probably, in between classes. And that's really important because as you're transitioning in this digital space and in a hybrid environment, as my district is, you have less time, but you want to engage your students so that they're actively learning as they're getting ready for class. And so this can be an amazing way for them to enter into the hybrid space or the digital space and be engaged as soon as they open that digital door. It provides a way for them to give student voice, peer-to-peer feedback. It's basically a back channel. You can see here that we used it as a back channel when we were discussing the Oregon Trail. So we've given you some ways to use Mentimeter as introductory activities or hooks in the classroom, in between classes or at the start of your class, and some ideas to use throughout your instruction. And then also as those formative assessments to check for understanding, to see if your kids can really tell you what do they know and what do they still have questions with, and honestly, what they need to work on for the next day.
The thing I really love about it is how easy it is to embed into a Google slide, and the kids see that word cloud or see the poll moving in real time too. So it's a great way to access information and see that build. And it builds excitement for class, right?
Totally. And kids love the word clouds, and to deconstruct those word clouds and tell them the why, it's pretty amazing. This one, Laura, do you want to start with Jamboard? And then I'm going to throw in the primary source piece because we both love this tool. In fact, I'm going to own it. I'm getting off, and this morning at 10:52, we've got a Jamboard analysis activity going on with a Library of Congress primary source on Lewis and Clark. So you put your practice right into what you're doing in the classroom. So Laura, talk about it for a minute, and then I'm going to talk about that primary source piece. You can see it right here.
You may not know about Jamboard. It's in your Google menu of options, and it's also what comes up if you're using Google Meet as your whiteboard. So it's a digital whiteboard, has all the drawing tool capability. We love it. Our math teachers are using it often. It has Post-it note capability, so you can sort, you can draw. It has multiple slides so that you can add kids to different Jamboards within the same, different boards within the same Jamboard. You can add pictures and analyze text. Here's one example of using the Post-it notes inside as a protocol. There are lots of templates in this presentation. And so this is here available to you too. If you go into this presentation, so this is linked inside, there are all kinds of options to show you what goes on in Jamboard. You can sort images, you can use the Post-it notes to sort things, and kids can change the labels inside of the Post-it notes. It really is powerful, a powerful way to engage. And you can see here, you can see the toolbar in action, the drawing capabilities, and everything that you have options in Jamboard. So we'd really encourage you to think about put a primary source in there, analyze it, give the kids some options to collaborate, and think about using Jamboard with your primary sources.
And let's just have a real quick chat about that. So we know that we have an amazing protocol at the Library of Congress, the See, Think, Wonder, it's often called, but that whole piece around reflection, what we see, what we're thinking about. The Library of Congress has worked over the last 25 years to encourage us to think about how we move students from basic understanding to deeper understanding using their analysis protocol. Jamboard rocks this. Students can use different colored sticky notes on their Jamboard to really walk through the See, Reflect, and Question activities with the Library of Congress and provide that instant feedback, and they love it. The biggest problem I have is stopping them analyzing something because they want to keep putting up all their sticky notes and noting it with their writing and everything else. You know, I encourage you to try it and set some boundaries with your kids. Talk to them about digital citizenship. It's a shared editable board for them, but you'll find that kids are respectful, they're engaging, and they love it. And it's really, really interactive. It, again, provides us with that redefinition piece for SAMR. And we've given you a few ideas on how to use those in the classroom. And now we're going to wrap up with Google Arts and Culture. This is one of our favorites. We've been using it for virtual work with students all year. Laura, rock it. Go. You love this, and it's amazing. There are new things coming out every day.
It is amazing and such a rich resource of primary sources. In Google Arts and Culture, they have taken museums from around the world and embedded the art, the artifacts, the images, the people, the experiments all in one place, and it's just amazing. This is just the homepage, and you can see, you can right today, I could just go ahead and guess the movie. I can try on a necklace. I can go down and decide what I would like to explore. It gives me some ideas of what to do. I can explore a museum from home. It has the 3D capability. I can go in and walk around. I can do scavenger hunts. It's just an amazing place to take your kids. There are 3D objects that give you the power of seeing things from all different sides. Stories, what's going on, zoom into artwork. You can see artwork, see the brush strokes. You can get so close. I just adore this site, Google Arts and Culture, and the fact that I can go in and I can see people. If I like something, I can favorite it, and this is my favorite section. So then I can go in and kids can start to create their own gallery and explore things. But you'll see that I have stories. It's just amazing. You can go in and these exhibits are gorgeous. They will walk you through how to get around in the museum. You can actually go to the museum and see exactly where the paintings live. It's just fantastic what's available inside of Google Arts and Culture. I can also choose topics like people. Imagine going through and studying Abraham Lincoln from all of the artifacts in the museums and everything that, all the different stories that are available with him. They have a timeline. Just look at this, just Lincoln. So you can organize by popularity. So these are the most popular primary sources and artifacts around Lincoln, but I can also click the timeline feature and walk through this and see Lincoln and see what's available from all these museums through a timeline. I love to do what's nearby too and see what museums are around. And so get an idea of someplace I can go. Here are all the museums close to me, right? So we love Google Arts and Culture. Please get in there and look around. There are some amazing resources in there. Join the Wakelet and we will leave you with lots of resources today. All of our resources in there. Add some more. Reach out to us for questions. We're happy to help you. And we are thrilled to be part of TLD this week. We hope to see you in Goose Chase too.
Check out the resources and go to that presentation because everything is linked. You'll walk away with a toolkit today. Sherrie?
Great job. Sorry we went a little over. You can tell that these two could go on for hours with amazing ideas, suggestions, and resources. We look forward to seeing your questions, your comments. Don't forget to fill out the poll. Cindy, anything else that you wanted to add before we log off? I guess not. So thanks for joining us this morning. And we look forward to seeing you in the on-demand programs as well as the evening speaker. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.